Bear down, Bears fans. Very cool when your team sells out their training camp. Training camp for the Chicago Bears sold out in a matter of minutes and cause for celebration. Everybody's super excited. This is a fantastic moment for the Chicago Bears. Dum, dum, dum. Or is it? Well, it's a mixed bag. So let's get into it. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, bell to be notified. And if nothing else, the like button because it doesn't hurt your finger. It doesn't hurt your finger. It doesn't hurt it at all if you just hit the like button. Anyway, so just an hour after registration to reserve free tickets for the Chicago Bears training camp were made available, they have officially sold out. Now, they're free tickets, but they sold out. The Bears announced just before 11 a.m. Tuesday that tickets are no longer available. They announced at 10 a.m. Tuesday that registration was open for the 2024 Lego Outdoor Power Equipment Chicago Bears training camp. The free tickets are secured by registering at chicagobears.com/camp. According to the Bears release, 9 practices will be open to Bears fans of all ages who will have access and be able to do it. This is on Friday, July 26th, Saturday, July 27th, and Tuesday, July 30th. Sunday, August 4, Tuesday, August 6, Wednesday, August 7, Tuesday, August 13, Wednesday, August 14, Thursday, August 15. To attend the practices, you have to have a ticket. Now, that sounds great, right? But guess what? It turns out that a bunch of goddamn scammers came in and got the tickets before fans. It isn't a shock that demand for the Bears training camp tickets was high. The Bears appear to be on the upswing, going 7-10 last year after their ugly 3-14 campaign. Feeding those flames is the arrival of Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick. Many see him as the best quarterback in the draft, and they can't wait for the season starts. And everything is going to kick off July 26, 16 days from now, at their first public practice. Tickets finally became available yesterday, and they're free for fans, but they sold out immediately. However, since the Bears moved practice camps away from Bourbonnais a few years ago, they've been forced to limit the number of tickets given away. This has apparently created an ugly scenario involving scammers. These are people who scoop up multiple tickets and then turn around to sell them on Ticketmaster or another online vendor for exorbitant prices. One even dared to charge and sold the ticket for $416 for two tickets. $416 for 2 tickets. The person selling these should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, whatever. I mean, look, and somebody's angry about it. Somebody who didn't get tickets, of course. Chicago fans deserve better than this. One of the few times they didn't have to feel like they were being ripped off was during training camp. All they had to do was order a ticket and show up. They could bring their own food and beverages and watch their favorite players practice. Listen, I know that sounds bad. The answer to this, by the way, blockchain. The answer to this is getting your tickets through a blockchain, creating a system by which you cannot game the system for multiple. Look, it's a lot simpler to do it that way, and the Bears are going to have to figure out in the next 2 or 3 years if this is really an issue or it's really a concern to them at all. If they want to do this, then the answer to this is going to be a blockchain of some sort to allow them to control how these tickets are distributed. And look, I don't think that this is I don't think banging Travis Kelce is going to get me Chicago Bears training camp tickets. Anyway, so this is a problem. Of course, scamming people is always a problem, but I don't know that this is illegal, and people call it a black market. People call it a lot of different things, but this is just simply an opportunity for people to gain an advantage. And that's America. F yeah. I mean, I guess so. I'm not a fan of this. I don't think that people should be doing it, but look, it's practice. It's not a real game. I mean, what I mean? People want to see what Tyson Bajent looks like. People want to see what Caleb Williams looks like. People want to see how DeAndre Swift works his way into this offense. People want to see, is Keenan Allen really worth it? Is Roma Dunze as good as advertised? People want to see all these things. Is Austin Booker really as good as people are saying he is? And could he crack the starting lineup? There's questions, of course. Kirana Magaji, Does he have what it takes to be that tackle that we're still kind of looking for? Again, fan of Braxton Jones, but we're still kind of looking for that guy. Are any of these things going to be answered in training camp? No. It's going to be your first opportunity to see the team. And by the way, it's going to be an opportunity for fans who don't normally have the opportunity to go to Chicago Bears overpriced games. And by the way, this is not a Chicago Bears thing. Every team has overpriced tickets. It's all it's all part of the mix here. So I'm not really. It's nice. Matter of fact, I've been to the Chicago Bears fan event in Soldier Field probably 8 times. So I took my kid a bunch of times. So it is nice to see. It is nice for something like that to happen. But at the end of the day, here's what matters: is this team getting ready to play? And what matters to me? Well, what matters to me really isn't my eye test. If the Bears really cared about fans, they would broadcast it maybe on their website or something like that. Like you could broadcast the practice for people who want to watch it. It's simple. It's real simple. So again, this is an issue. This is a solution. This is people looking for a solution to not a problem. But it's not good. I mean, it's not good optics. But I mean, again, whether you show up to see the Chicago Bears or not in preseason or at training camp, then that doesn't matter. What matters is the season. Are they progressing and stuff like that? And look, there's analysts out there that are going to tell you whether this team looks better or not. And one of the things that I'm going to point out to you is that for a lot of us, for the early parts of the season, we're looking at the positives. We're not, hindsight's always 2020, right? We can go back and we can look and say, well, this thing was a problem here, and very few people were calling it. We're all moon boys, if you will, in that we're going to look at the good things that Caleb Williams does, and we're not going to see the bad things that, but here's the thing: if you had it on tape, if you had the training camp on camera, if you were broadcasting it, then that would be cool. However, I know what your answer is. You don't want people to see what your team looks like. So if you don't want people to see what their team looks like, how is this the thing? You know what I mean? Anyway, so we got to move on now. But if you were fortunate enough to get tickets, congratulations to you. Now let's talk about the NFL offseason power rankings, because the Bears are now number 16, and that puts them at least middle of the pack. And by the way, means that they are projected to be a low-tiered playoff contender. So the Bears were pretty good late last season. They started 2-7. It seemed the only reason Eberflus would survive the year is a weirdly nostalgic way that the Bears never fire a head coach during the season. But they got hot after that, and they saved Eberflus's job in the process, going 5-3 down the stretch in the second half of the season. And only losses were on the road to playoff teams: to the Lions, which they should have beaten, to the Browns, which they should have beaten, and at the Packers, which, God damn it, whatever. Anyway, they didn't look. They were close with the Packers, but it didn't feel close. Okay, I just say that. You know what I mean? I gotta say that. Let's see. Chicago Bears preseason ranking. Chicago Bears preseason ranking in 2023. I want to say they were somewhere in the neighborhood of 28, just for clarity's sake here. The year before that, or 31, the year before that. So, all right, here we go. I got it. All right, so in the preseason, Chicago Bears are ranked number 22 last season. And let's face it, they were 3 games away from the playoffs, and they could have won those 3 games. So that makes a lot of sense. If they're up 6 points in the ranking compared to last year, then there would be an expectation that they would be able to win some of those games. So interesting times. But here's the thing. At the end of the 2022 season, the Lions won a Week 18 game at Green Bay in a weird sort of situation. The Bears' buzz would have been louder had they won against either the Lions at one point, or the first game, or the Browns, or look. This team would have been a little bit more on fire if they had closed out that much better, right? As is, there'll be plenty of excitement for what's to come in Chicago. They'll be featured team on Hard Knocks. There wasn't a lot of hope for Chicago before the second half of last season. It was a slow rebuild after 3 straight seasons of double-digit losses. Suddenly, there's reason for optimism. The focus right now was how bad they had botched the trade. And of course, Carolina ended up with Bryce Young, didn't work out very well, or not working out very well. And of course, Houston ended up with CJ Stroud. So now the Bears have Caleb Williams. So the Bears got in the Panthers trade the number 9 overall pick in 2023, which they used for Darnell Wright. And then in 2024, the 4th round pick, which was Torrey Taylor. Then they got DJ Moore. They got a 2023 second round pick, which was used to get Tyreek Stevenson. And then the 2024 first round pick and the 2025 second round pick, by the way, which we haven't gotten to yet, but that was used on Williams in 2024. So it's not outrageous to wonder if he'll look back at the trade in a few years and compare it to the Herschel Walker trade, which is famous for helping to start the Dallas Cowboys dynasty. The Bears have tried and tried to find a quarterback. Justin Fields had his moments, but no team was willing to trade the Bears more than a 6th round pick for him, and that speaks volumes. They saw the product on the field. Williams is a Heisman Trophy winner, considered an elite prospect. Even if Fields develops for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it still will be better to have Caleb Williams at this point. Unlike some of the other quarterbacks who get number 1 overall, Williams is landing in the best situation of anybody ever being drafted number 1 as a quarterback. The Bears finished last season on the upswing. They stole more from the Panthers. Then they traded for Keenan Allen, drafted Rome Odunze, brought in DeAndre Swift. This isn't a situation where David Carr is going to get sacked 76 times as a rookie, or Bryce Young is playing on just a horrible Panthers team. This is a team that's ready for the playoffs. They just need that leadership and stability at the quarterback position that they were missing last season, that caused them to lose. Again, 4 separate games were decided by less than 7 points. They could have won each and every one of those games. Like, this is the Bears were this close to being a legitimate playoff team. A contender, probably not, but a playoff team, yes. It's easy to take that finish last season for the Bears and dream about how much better it will be with Williams, Allen, Odunze, Swift, and others. The defense won't match the offense, potentially because it doesn't have a lot of depth, and there might be some problems there. But Eberflus isn't as good as he was in the second half of the season. Williams isn't a huge hit right away, or any of these things happen. The Bears are still a good team and will win more than 7 games. But there's a different energy about the Bears, particularly at the quarterback. The Bears had the second best collection of grades from the NFL draft behind the Steelers. It's ridiculous they weren't number 1. The Steelers drafting some offensive linemen is really better than landing Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. I don't think so, but I'm not the NFL analyst that said that. The Bears should thank the Falcons for using the number 8 pick for Michael Penix, which allowed that fall to number 9 for Rome Odunze. All of this is great. And by the way, did anybody see that Malik Neighbors thing? Did anybody see that Malik Neighbors thing where he's out partying, throwing dollars to strippers and all that kind of stuff? Like, that's the guy we could have had. And here he is out here just goddamming it. Just goddamming it. Anyway, so they pick up Kieran Amagaji. Montez Sweat going to be better. I mean, look, this team is ready for the big time, okay? Nobody should be compared to Patrick Mahomes, period. But when you catch Caleb Williams' most outlandish highlights, the only other person that looks the same way is Patrick Mahomes. That's why people are super excited. So the BetMGM odds have famously never had the Bears with a 4,000-yard season. The Bears have never had a 4,000-yard season. However, it's plus 125 odds that they will do that this year. There's also 80-1 odds that Williams is the MVP of the league, not rookie of the year. 41% chance that he's the rookie of the year. So the Bears are minus 125 to make the playoffs and plus 105 to miss the postseason, and they have a win total of 8.5. And the fantasy take looking like superior right now. I don't know how it's going to be superior, by the way. If you're a fantasy football fan, you don't want to stack up on Chicago Bears. I don't think. I mean, DeAndre Swift, yeah, I think so. DJ Moore or Keenan Allen, yeah. Roma Dunze, maybe, but it's gonna be tough to distribute the ball this way. If I'm looking for a tight end, I would want to have Cole Kmet, but I don't think Cole Kmet's going to have the receptions that we hope. It's difficult. It's going to be difficult to feed the ball to everybody. DJ Moore's going to want his 1,000. So, now the questions are very simple here. What do we do at running back? Is Khalil Herbert going to stay with the team, or will he leave? Again, it's $1 million, so it doesn't really matter too much when it comes down to it. But could we get somebody else, and could we enhance the defense in some way by moving on from Khalil Herbert and then just going with DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, and Travis Homer? Could that improve the team dynamic? And it's possible you could get somebody for a defensive lineman, but the question is at this point, who do we find? So now the nightmare scenario, and this is gonna go into something that I said yesterday. My nightmare scenario was that Caleb Williams is going to end up getting injured and getting delayed by a year. And if that is the case, then we have to go with Tyson Bent, right? What about Tyson Bent? And the question that people had, I left the same thing up from yesterday. Arm strength. Does Tyson Bent have the arm strength to make it in the NFL? And what I had was yesterday, I took the video that turned it into something else. I put it on I made the video, and then the next thing I know, there's somebody out here saying, "Well, Tyson Bent can't even throw the ball 20 yards." First of all, no. Secondly, here's the video, and we're going to start at the 20-yard line, and we're going to turn the sound off. But here we go, 20, 30, 40, 50, 40, 41 yards. So can Tyson Bent make a 41-yard throw? Yeah, he can. He absolutely 100% can. So it's silly to me that people would be saying that because it's not true. Now, part of that comes from, in my opinion, he does have a weak arm. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a weak arm, by the way, and he doesn't leave the ball in the air too long. I'm not saying that. He has to work on arm strength, obviously. Okay. But you can only play what your coach calls. And if your coach is calling screens, if your coach is calling short routes, if your coach is not sending people down the field, you can't make those throws. So it's not a question of whether he can or can't. It's a question of whether he's trusted. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure one of those 40 or 50-yard passes was intercepted at some point. So we'll see whether or not he gains the arm strength to make a coach comfortable with him making those throws, and then we'll see whether or not he can execute them. But there it was. He can clearly throw the ball at least 41 yards. So, and that was, by the way, in the air. That was not, the run after the catch, the rack yards, like when he passed it on to Foreman, stuff like that. And by the way, I see now find another one. You're right about that. It is very difficult because I didn't have the time to go sit back and just watch and watch and watch. So there's going to be holes in the guy's game. I still think, again, I told you before, I think that he's going to have to get stronger. And I've been watching some of his Instagram stuff. He's working. He's working on it. You know what I mean? So the same throw you just showed. Yeah. And I know that it was there. And I know that because the angle was different, it was the opposite side of the field. And I remember watching it being like, God damn it. But the ball went 40 yards, even if it did get intercepted. I just think it was a weak ball, and I hope he gets stronger just in case. But that's the nightmare scenario. The nightmare scenario here is that Tyson Bent doesn't improve, and Caleb Williams gets thrown on the shelf for a little while. Now, I do think that no matter what happens in that scenario, we're still better than 2-7 to start the season, and still better than 5-3 to end the season. So I do think that we're still a better team. So I'm going to say that 8.5 is a silly number. that this is at least, look, I'm still saying 13-4, but this is a 10-win team, that we should go at least 10-7 and be a wild card, at least playoff team. This is a much more this is a much better and much more improved team. Now, let's move on from that and say that this is the man right here. In case you were wondering, DJ Moore is now the odds-on favorite to be the MVP for the Chicago Bears. Is he going to be the league MVP? The odds are still out on that. But according to Eric Edholm of NFL.com, he examined one MVP from each team heading into the 2024 season. He first looked at Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams. He was going through the list, and the only one that really stood out to him was Moore. Even if he's no slam dunk selection, there's even a case to be made that Moore's 2024 numbers could fall below his career high totals from last season, given that the Bears added Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze and DeAndre Swift. But if there's any individual player who holds the key to helping unlock Williams more than Moore, I don't know who it is. In the 12 games Justin Fields started and finished last season, Moore averaged 91 receiving yards per game and caught half of Fields' touchdown passes. Even with a stronger receiving core this year, Moore figures to be a huge part of Williams' development in his rookie season and well beyond. And if it is true that it is easier for Caleb Williams to get to improve with getting the ball to DJ Moore better than Justin Fields was able to do that, then he becomes even better than he already is. That's going to be a fantastic move. But he's coming off of a career year, 96 receptions, 1,364 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So the question now is, does DJ Moore have it in him to be that guy? Can he? Also, by the way, remember, DJ Moore was joking about, and he wasn't joking, by the way, but he was joking about the race to 1,000 yards that each one of them, these guys are going to have as a receiver. But that's not what he said. What he said was he was concerned about ball distribution. So what do you guys think he's going to do? I think that DJ Moore probably is the MVP. I think DJ Moore is embracing that role at this point, which is why you see wild shit like this video of him as a kid in school and stuff like that. I mean, the guy's having a great time, having a lot of fun with his newfound notoriety, if you will. So I think that he's going to be the man for the team. Caleb Williams, definitely the future MVP type guy. If in so much as we might have one on this team, he's going to take up a lot of the oxygen in the room. Caleb Williams will. So I would be watching for Caleb Williams long term, but short term, DJ Moore most likely the MVP candidate for the Chicago Bears and potentially for the league. But remember, there's still 80-1 odds that Caleb Williams is going to be the MVP of the entire league, not just the Rookie of the Year. So that's my time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bear down, fuck Green Bay, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.